Welcome back, everybody, to the Pro League, live at the Next Arena. My name is Valdez. I'm joined with Wolf today. As you see our really awkward pictures there on the right, we're going to jump into our second match of the night. It's going to be Samsung Galaxy Con Pro Game Team versus MVP.
I just want to get that picture of the two of us like in high quality.
Yeah, I want it on your wall.
I want to put it like on my profile picture, man. I'm actually gonna ask.
It's like
the
two of
producer
the most awkward pictures I've ever seen. Is that actually a picture of us both, like together in the same picture,
no,
or like
it's
different
two pictures? It's two pictures from two different situations. That's why your head looks so funny and I look so goofy. Like, it's so funny, man.
Yeah. Well, here we have Samsung Galaxy Con still with the best jackets, but they do have the first loss of round 2. And over here is MVP, who's actually starting to ramp up a bit, especially on the backs of Lucira and Yonghwa.
Yeah, I think I said this last time, as we do see Reality and MarineKing shake hands here. I think I said this last time, but I feel like the way I look at MVP now is almost like Sejantis from last year. Like, it's like, well, they're starting things off with a bit of a weak performance on one of the best teams, one of the most well-funded. They got Coach Park, but suddenly, somehow, some way, some of these players are doing incredible. Yonghwa was a prime example, doing really well. They've got star players like MarineKing who had a bit of a comeback as well, made it to the Hot 6 Cup finals. Not that recently, but somewhat recently. They've got good players on their team. They've got Lucero, who's suddenly coming back to full form. Like, he's top tier again. And
MarineKing, not in this matchup, but he was able to take down Leenock, at least in recent times. So he's starting to come back. Comes out once again on King Sejong Station. They're starting to put him out pretty consistently on this map. They're trying to get him on a roll again, starting to get him ramped up and out in that slump. Unfortunately, here in Pro League, he is 0-5 versus Terran. That's actually one of the worst ratings I've seen against any one race out of any player here. So he's really got to ramp that up. I hope he's been practicing for it because it's definitely his worst matchup right now.
Yeah. Reality, we haven't seen too much of him. He'll be MarineKing's first opponent. We'll talk about that a little bit more in detail after this. Bravo makes another appearance here. He's going up against Departure. And coming after that, we have a ZVZ between Solar and Lucira. Solar, been a bit lackluster recently. And then in our fourth match, which could be the final one, it's Deer versus Yonghwa. Deer coming back a little bit here. He rejoined Samsung at the beginning of the season. But Yonghwa, like you said, undefeated and clearly designed to come out and PvP snipe. He's coming out on Deadwing again, exactly what you'd expect to see a Protoss there. He's going to be PvPing it yet again, and I think he's highly favored going to this one.
Yeah, I definitely give that win to Yonghwa here. Just looking at these games that we have here, it just looks like Samsung Galaxy Con definitely the favorites for the first 2 games, but then MVP the favorites for the last 2 games. I think we're going to see another ace match today, Wolf.
Yeah, it looks like we're on track for it. We normally have Monday ace matches, but today I think we're just having a bit of a substitute for those 3-0s yesterday.
Monday dropped the ball, so Tuesday's like, oh, I got to have my ace matches today. I mean, to be frank, we've had like a ton of ace matches every day. It just seems like we usually get like double ace matches on Monday, which is kind of freaky. We get those long days. But, I mean, we've seen a lot of upsets, actually, in the first matchup here. So maybe we'll see some today. Maybe MarineKing, he's been on a bit of a roll. Reality hasn't played a single game in 2015 Pro League. Maybe Reality drops the ball. MarineKing takes his first Terran win, or TVT win, and maybe we can see a 3-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
The one matchup here that kind of strikes me as pretty one-sided is Bravo versus Departure. Bravo looking pretty good these days. He doesn't come out all too often, but I'm happy that they're playing him again here today. Departure, though, he's been not having the best couple of seasons here.
Has he ever? He's one of these players who's got nerve issues. I remember talking to the Fnatic coach at the time, Juani, a long time ago, and he was like, I was like, what's up with this guy? You guys have never fielded him once. Why is he even come to the bench? Like, why do you guys have him on the team? He's like, well, he's really good, but he's nervous. He freaks out. We've talked about playing him, and he's like been really panicky and nervous because back in the GSTL, you like ask somebody, do you want to play against this guy on this match? And he says yes or no because you just picked the player before, who's you submit it to the clipboard guy, and he was like, okay, this person's gonna play next. You like decide that at that moment, but this is like a really predetermined roster. And he's been sent out a few times. He had some nerve issues in the past, but definitely been weaker. Here's Reality. First time this season.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that, Wolf. This guy, he had some crazy games in the last season, notably that one super long one against Sulky that had to be restarted, and then the second game was like 50 minutes long, too.
Yeah. He loves his mech versus Zerg, and in a TVT we could see something similar. I think actually Reality was scheduled to play once this season already, but ended up losing before the team ended up losing before he actually got to play. I believe that happened. So he rejoined Samsung this round. He was actually kind of a free agent for a little while, and I'm glad that he's back. I was sad when he left because I thought he was one of the core pieces of Samsung.
Yeah. Well, here's MarineKing. He did show us. The name of the song is "I Will Show You."
I'll show you.
And I hope so. He changed his song here for round 2. He showed us in his first game of round 2. Let's keep it going, MarineKing. You got a lot of fans to please. Specifically, you know, I feel like anytime I criticize this guy, I get at least 2 angry tweets saying like, "No, MarineKing's the best guy ever." But you know,
3 and 7, no, he's not.
He hasn't been playing well, just to be honest. And hopefully, he comes up here once again. He got that first win. Can he extend that streak finally? Especially break that losing streak against Terran?
Well, we'll have to find out, Valdez. The map is King Sejong Station, a great map for mech, one of Reality's favorite maps. I'm thinking we're probably going to see some mech here.
Let's jump into that game right now. It's going to be Reality versus MarineKing on King Sejong Station. Down here in the bottom right in the red for Samsung Galaxy Khan, the Terran player, or one of them here, it is Reality.
And up to the top left in blue, the MVP player, the former Prime King of Marines. MarineKing Prime, or excuse me, MVP MarineKing. Still MarineKing Prime, essentially. He still uses the name MKP. He's still very loyal to his team. It's one of those tags that, like, fades away for slowly over a long time. Another famous tag in esports, I hope he's watching, is D Apollo. As that slowly faded away for a long time. It's one of those things where you just have this tag. It's like your stream name or your Twitter name. You don't want to change it. You can't change it, and it kind of just hangs around. And you've got a lot of history there.
So both these teams have no players in the winners ranking. I'm not sure if they're the only 2 teams. I doubt it. I don't think Prime has got anyone up there either. But yeah, both these teams here today, not going to have anyone there. MarineKing, 8-game losing streak against Terran in Pro League. So that includes games from last season even.
Yeah,
I guess he had 3 losses there towards the end of last season as well.
I don't think he played any TVTs like in any other individual leagues recently, maybe in a qualifier or something. But, I mean, that losing streak might even be even worse if you want to look deeper into that. But we see gas first for both these players, so it's going to take a while before this ramps up. But I want to talk about MarineKing's history in this matchup because I talked about it last time. I expected last season when he came back from League of Legends and started playing and played in a lot of matches for Prime. I expected he'd play a lot better TVT. He played in a few TVTs last season, and I was like, you know what? I think we're going to see something good out of this guy. This guy was on top of his game. He was on top of the world. He had the best records he ever had in GSL and in StarCraft in general before he started to slip off when it was a Terran-dominated meta. It was during the time where people were calling the GSL GOMP TVT, and at this point, like, he's terrible at it, though. I mean, he showed some weird styles. We started to see him do half bio, half mech, sort of like weird types of pushes in this matchup where he like starts one way and switches into the other. We see him try to go like Thor Viking.
Just some strange experimental play of the likes that you see from like SOS as well as even Zest recently. Just like some interesting builds that come out and just don't work, and you're like, well, why did you do that? You're like such a strong player. Like, you could just play straight up, you know?
Yeah. It's weird because, I mean, he was one build comes to mind. He like did like a he rushed a reactor on his starport instead of a tech lab, and then like just made double Vikings for a while. And I'm just like, well, I guess you have air control, but what are you gonna do with those? And in fact, he just died like to an attack and tried to land them to defend. It didn't work. So
yeah,
weird stuff like that. Very experimental in this matchup. And we do see a delayed Reaper here for Reality, but he is teching pretty normally. Other than that, he's going to come over here and try to scout. The starport is proxied for MarineKing. I don't think he's going to find that.
He could, though. He's got a second Reaper out here, and he's already sending it towards that direction. He may just want to go to the front and try to take an early trade here. That is definitely something you can go for. Before this game goes on any longer, I want to mention something. The predictions were not shown, but in fact they were split 3-3. The foreigners all voted for Reality, and the Koreans all voted for MarineKing.
Very interesting, actually. That's a really good stat, Valdez. Hold that thought, though. Ooh, one trade there. Losing a lot of hit points on this this Reaper, and a good chase with the Heli, and the Marines are going to support from the back. And you know what? He defends, and also that starport still hasn't been scouted.
Yeah, that's very nice, actually. Let's see what comes out of here. It looks like the medevac to start things off.
And this is really nice for him because his units are already in position to just get healed up and picked up, sent right across the map. He's got a few Hellions rallied with this as well. Even got that SCV for a quick little repair before we get in that medevac. Everybody's going to be all set. Like, you know, the Hellion drivers bought like their iPods and the Game Boys for the trip.
Everybody's going to be really comfortable on this trip.
It's going to be a nice little ride over there.
Yeah.
Few units ready for the defense. We'll see how much damage this gets done. It's going to have to be kind of like forced damage here.
Well, the Banshee pops out here, and you know, especially because these units come out one by one, the Banshee's going to be so strong. We do have a follow-up Viking coming out of that starport, though, so that definitely could help out with taking care of this Banshee. But look at this, a follow-up Reaper coming in to the base. He's going to get a full scout. Everything, as long as he micros it. Oh, wow. Okay. Guess he was focusing somewhere else on the map.
I just want to point out there's no turrets yet from MarineKing, so this, you know, this is kind of important because he needs to keep these Banshees on the defensive. His eBay's not even done yet. He should be fine, of course, because he has this pressure. This is going to potentially do a lot of damage. He needs a scan, though. Doesn't have one, and that's going to be the end of that. Does kill quite a few SCVs, though.
Oh, that was nice. Taking out one of those Hellions before it got in. And we do have a follow-up of some more units, just like one Marauder at a time, as well as some extra Vikings. But again, like you were saying, that Cloak Banshee, the cloak on it is just so strong right now.
That poor Marauder. He's just tanking it. He's tanking that cloak time. Oh, is he going to get saved? Nice. Banshee's like, I dare you to drop him. Try to heal him. Here's that second Banshee.
Yeah. There is one missile turret in the mineral line, but of course, if there's nothing back there to help out with the protection that missile turret gives, it's definitely going to be able to do a lot of damage, especially on that left side. The missile turret was slightly to the right. Here we go.
Yep. Just a little bit of poke, a little bit of harass. But this is still a strong push. He's got the concave at the top of him and that Banshee. And he's got cloak. There's a scan. He's targeting it. Trying to break through here with his Hellions on the left, but this is just...
No, not enough. It's just not enough. Like, he attacked into a concave. In the meantime, he loses 8 SCVs.
I mean, let's go back to StarCraft fundamentals, okay? Like, you know, like when you play Pokemon like 8 times. You're like in Generation 5. You go to the first town, and it's like that guy's like, you should go to the Pokemon school and learn about the types. Like, let's get that basic, okay? When you're attacking one base versus one base, usually the player who's defending is going to have more stuff. And in this case, has flying units that are invisible, and also a concave when basically every single unit that you're fighting with versus his units that can fight are AoE. So he's going to have his units spread out. You need your AoE for this to be effective. At the basic fundamental level, this attack was essentially destined to fail. And it did.
Pretty much. I mean, he had an interesting composition. He was making Vikings to counter the Banshees, but like you were saying, I mean, especially because Reality knew it was coming, and he got like a full scout, and also he was just like, okay, you don't have a second CC. All I have to do is defend. Let's make some more Banshees. Let's make some more units. And then he just waited, and then MarineKing like bit the bait, and he just like died to it. It's just so easy for Reality to just walk out of here alive and just ahead in general. And we see him making what looks like a CC down there. Yeah, he's already got that halfway done. He's going to stay here. He's making tanks now.
Yeah, he's like, are you going to attack into my like defensive position again? I was going to say one base. It's about to be 2 base. And this is a strong push, but there are 2 siege tanks at the top of the ramp, a concave of Marines, and Hellions to support as well, and he has to go up a choke point in that ramp. It is just not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's see if he tries to force it here. Loses a reactor back at home. That's going to hurt a bit.
He's like going to start burning down. He's going to have to start bringing SCVs over to repair. He has to send his Vikings home because his starport is away, so he has to fly those all the way home to deal with this. Like, I think that factory's burning. It is. And
Well, now at this point, Reality is confident enough to move out. He's got to be careful. There's a lot of Hellions in that mix, and he's also got a lot of Marines in his own mix. So he has to not bunch up here, take it slow, take his expansion, and just get another concave there at the top of that second ramp.
Is he going to save the Banshee? He gets it away. 3 seconds left of Cloak. With that Cloak, he saves it. MarineKing is going to find nothing but unhappiness when he sends that medevac over there. Now, trying to circumvent this army is a good idea, but MarineKing is already scouted by this Banshee, so Reality can just reorganize his troops.
Scan misses it. He's not even going to get that kill. And that's so hard. He's only got 1 orbital for scans. So every single scan is so, so important. He doesn't get a mule out of it either. I mean, look at his SCV count right now. It's 40 to 20. The army supply is bigger for Reality as well. He's just going to attack into this. I don't know about this, in fact.
Yeah, that's a lot of Marauders, dude.
He may have just actually
thrown
his entire army away.
Whoa.
Okay, well, now he's going to try to fight with these SCVs against Hellions. We got a ton of Marauders in the back. He may be saved by the Banshee, in fact, but that was a gigantic mistake.
Yeah, I can't even. That's like Lance is about to send out Blastoise. Did you like to switch Pokemon? You're like, no, I'll keep my Geodude out. Like,
well, MarineKing getting a lot of damage with this, in fact. Already up to 16 SCVs killed. He's trying to keep alive that 1 tank, and he may be able to, but the Vikings do land. They're trying to focus it down. A huge surround with the repair, and he's going to keep it alive.
I mean, these 2 Banshees have total control of the base. That's why MarineKing still loses. He hasn't even been able to produce. These Banshees are flying into turrets. Guys, I'm sorry, this is not a good game.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Let's move. I'm like, if I'm the director of this, I'm like, cut. All right, everybody take 5. I need some time to think.
May need a break after this one.
I mean,
let's see what these 2 players can do.
He can't even defend his CC to the Banshee. Like, I mean, he's dead, but Reality made such a huge mistake that MarineKing is like somehow able to almost try to make this happen with his Marauders and his good control, because MarineKing's famous for that. But
MarineKing's just got nothing left.
GG.
And
his CC and his main base was burning down.
Yeah. Reality, to be frank, he was just so far ahead that he was just like, oh, I can just attack you and win. Like, let's just end this game. Let's get it over with. But then he was like, oh, wait, your composition directly counters mine, especially because I don't even siege up my tanks. He loses everything. He just barely stays alive. But that really speaks to how far ahead he really was in that game. He was just like, I lost everything, and I lost 20 SCVs, but it didn't even matter. I will still win this game.
MarineKing, every time he defended the Banshees, or so he thought, he sent his Vikings back to fight and back to push. And, you know, while he was doing that, Banshees kept coming to his base, and he had no answer for Banshees. All of his units he was making out of his barracks were being killed. And then his CC was just burning down to Banshees. Even Reality like flew a Banshee into a turret and it died, but it was just like, it doesn't matter. That's how ahead I am. That game was like a lesson of several things not to do in TVT, like when not to fight, when not to attack a one-base Terran who was at the top of his ramp. That was a weird game. Reality takes game number 1. Team Foreign Casters 1-0 Koreans, your move.
Well, unfortunately, we're not going to get any more 3-3 predictions. I would love if we did, but it's not going to be the case here, especially in the next game. We're going to have Bravo versus Departure. And happy to see Reality taking a win at least. He comes in here, his first game in Pro League 2015, and it wasn't the prettiest. It was, in fact, extremely sloppy, but he gets a win. And in the end, as I always like to say, that's all that matters.
That is all that matters. People like to say, it's not whether you win or lose, but it's how you play the game. No, not actually, no.
It's like, not whether you win or lose, it's as long as you had fun, as long as everyone had fun and they were nice to each other. No, it's about winning for your team, especially here at Pro League.
This is a pro circuit.